Detroit, Michigan. We're in the home of the Tigers. This ALCS is tied at 2 games apiece. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming right up. What's been on display here so far in this ALCS is the brilliant pitching depth of the Detroit Tigers. Not only are they deep, but they're very good. And the Red Sox know that now. Their lineup has been shut down. The world knows it now. Watching the ALCS, what's happened early in games because of the Tiger rotation, it's really been impressive. To the point where, had we told you before the series began that the Boston Red Sox would put up the paltry numbers that we're about to show you, you'd say probably, well, Detroit sweeps. That obviously has not been the case. But look at the first 5 innings of each game in this series. Boston hasn't scored a run. They have 6 hits, 33 strikeouts. Everybody realizes the value of scoring early in baseball. It's very, very important. And the Red Sox will try to punch through once again with Anibal Sanchez tonight. Yeah, and that's why it's so vitally important for the Boston Red Sox, who have their ace on the mound here tonight, Jon Lester, to go out and try and get the win, get a great start tonight from Lester, because going back to Boston, the Red Sox are facing Scherzer and, if necessary, Verlander in a possible Game 7. So they've got their ace going tonight. They need a good one out of Lester. All the talk last night about the reshuffling of the lineup. Well, in the end, a 7-3 win for the Tigers. The series is tied at 2 games apiece. Last night, it was the Detroit Bats that broke out.
Let your head out. Beat it out. Just beat it out. This house until we knock it down. So turn the volume loud. If it's been to the head, so baby, let just like cake. Better let yourself out. Let yourself
Card of Major League Baseball since 1997. It is cold, 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 cold. Wind whipping around in Detroit. How about the rotation for the Tigers? It started with Sanchez and Fenway, then Scherzer, then Verlander here Game 3. Doug Fister got the win. In Game 4, you got hugs. You got the series tied at 2 apiece. And now the carousel has made a full revolution, and we're back to Anibal Sanchez taking on Jon Lester. There are the numbers from Game 1. No hits through 6 innings, 12 strikeouts, 6 walks, 116 pitches. We'll give you the starting lineup for Boston, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. No surprises except for one change, really, and that's Xander Bogaerts batting in the 8th spot. Before him, it's Ellsbury, Victorino, Pedroia, Ortiz, Napoli, Gomes. Drew stays in there, just 1 for 13. Bogaerts, the 21-year-old, and David Ross has been doing the catching as he did in Game 1 for Jon Lester. And we'll tell you, as always, the opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And before every game, a little kiss for the baseball from Anibal Sanchez. And while he gets ready, we'll remind you, for coverage of this game in Spanish, please tune in to Fox Deportes.
Anibal Sanchez leading the American League in earned run average at 2.57. He makes you take good pitches and swing it bad, and there will be a lot of check swings by the Red Sox tonight.
Boston had not seen a lot of Anibal Sanchez leading into Game 1 of this American League Championship Series. Now they've got a game under their belt and to a man down in the clubhouse. They believe they're better prepared to face this 29-year-old right-hander from Venezuela here tonight.
Start with laying off bad pitches. Balls in the dirt.
Ellsbury had a big night last night, and he takes a strike. Jacoby had 4 hits, was 4 out of 5. He finally broke out. Had 2 extra base hits, had an RBI, had a run scored. And he is a career .372 hitter here in this ballpark. Free agent to be. In the hole 0-2. The Red Sox as a group in this series hitting .186. So with all the numbers that we threw at you in the opening, not taking for granted that you listened to any of that, it's just been shutdown work by the Tigers starters through the first 5 innings of this series as ball 1 bounces into Ellsbury.
Yeah, Sanchez going back in the dirt. He throws those pitches that look like strikes but aren't. That's what he did all 6 innings of game 1, pitching no-hit ball through 6.
Red Sox did not get their first hit of that game until there was 1 out in the 9th inning from Daniel Nava. That's outside. The count 2-2. Sanchez was traded here to the Tigers with Omar Infante from Miami last July on the 23rd. Decided to re-up with Detroit. Happy as a Tiger. And Ellsbury fouls it right side. A prepared fan who brought a glove, which is a smart thing to do when you're seated that close to the field, was there for a nice little one-hop stop.
Gotta bring your glove. Good going.
2-2 the count. And now a full count, and this is what the Red Sox do. It was 0-2 in a blink. Foul ball mixed in. Good batting eye by Ellsbury. Now it's a full count. How's this one going to start? With a strikeout. 1 away. Let's go back to game 1 and all those check swings.
And balls out of the strike zone. Red Sox, as Joe said, had not seen Sanchez. He had 4 strikeouts in the first inning. 4 strikeouts. And the changeup to Ellsbury to get Jacoby to lead off the game.
And now Victorino digs his way in, and he's batting left-handed. We've seen him bat right-handed throughout this postseason against righties. He was in the category of a former switch hitter, and to change things up, and why not? He's 2 out of 16 in this ALCS. He's back to batting left-handed. And he's up on the count here 2-0.
The reason that he switched to begin with, switched back to the right side, was because he had a left hamstring problem. And from the left side, it bothered him when he swung and missed.
There's a strike.
But all the times prior to this, to facing Sanchez here, he had 46 at bats against Sanchez as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies when Sanchez was with Miami. So he's back to the left side.
Here's a shattered bat. Fielder makes the play and got him at first. 2 gone. Sanchez was there. A slow developing play because of the shattered bat.
Yeah, that bat going at Prince Fielder and the ball, he picks the right one up to get Shane Victorino.
And the toss beat Victorino, and now it'll be Pedroia. Come on, Vic, come on. Dustin Pedroia so far 3 out of 14, 1 RBI in this ALCS. He gets the protection of David Ortiz behind him in this lineup. That's their typical look. Ortiz is only 1 out of 15. So the 3-4 combination trying to figure it out here against the Tigers. That's a broken bat, base hit through the left side. And the top of the first inning produces a hit for the Red Sox, something Boston couldn't do in 6 innings in game 1. And here's David Ortiz. finished the season hitting .309 for the regular year, 6th best average in the AL. So far this postseason, hitting just .214. One big hit in this series, 1 for 15, and that produced his 4 RBIs.
There's that wishbone offense to the right. The shift.
Big rip, strike 1.
I think a lot of teams would be reticent to run with 2 outs and Ortiz up. I think the Red Sox have to open things up and open eyes up as far as the Tigers are concerned. Pedroia with 17 stolen bases during the season.
And teams just run on Sanchez. That's outside. Opponents were successful 27 times in 28 attempts.
That's right. Be aggressive on the bases.
That was against Sanchez, and this is a running Boston Red Sox team. 123 as a team, 52 of those by Ellsbury, but that total 4th best. There he goes, and a foul straight back by Ortiz. Pedroia got a great jump, but he has to come back.
The reason that the Red Sox wouldn't run in this situation, it leaves first base open, and they might pitch around Ortiz. Well, let them pitch around Ortiz in the first inning and have Napoli try to drive into runs.
Now Ortiz has to protect as he's in the hole 1 and 2.
I'd run again if I were Pedroia.
Right to fielder. A hit, a man left. Bottom of the first rolls in. John Lester rolls out. It's game 5 of the ALCS. No score. Times you gotta live Moss. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by DirecTV, if you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Starting lineup for the Tigers brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you got to live Moss. They'll lead it off again as they did last night with Torrey Hunter. Batting second, Miguel Cabrera. Prince Fielder hitting third. Victor Martinez, the DH. Peralta in left, Omar Infante. Avila does the catching. Austin Jackson in that number 8 spot again, 2nd consecutive game, and Iglesias is at short batting 9th. Here's a left-hander, John Lester.
And the Red Sox are looking for a repeat performance out of John Lester, who lost game 1 but gave up only 1 earned run in 6 innings. He has been a red-hot pitcher the second half of this season.
He led the Red Sox in wins and starts and strikeouts and innings pitched. His 11th postseason appearance. He's 3-4 overall and has not won in the league championship series. It's his 4th LCS start. Torrey Hunter first up. 4 hits in this series, and he takes ball 1 inside. Hunter had a hit in 5 trips out of the leadoff spot last night. Drove home 2, scored a run. That's down the left field line, foul ball. Bogart's going after it. It's out of play. Home plate umpire tonight, Dale Scott. He is joined by Dan Iasonia at first, Joe West, the crew chief, at second. Rob Drake is over at third with Ron Kolpa in left, and Alfonso Marquez, who worked the plate here last night, he's in right. Hunter, Cabrera, fielder against Lester. Jammed him. Fly ball, shallow right for Victorino, 1 out. And now the defense for the Red Sox. Only change defensively really is Bogart's getting the start. His first of this postseason. Middlebrooks starts the night on the bench. David Ross is the catcher, but that's the way it's been for John Lester. Otherwise, typical look for Boston. Xander Bogaerts, it's new for him playing third base. And he said when Miguel Cabrera comes up, I might play in shallow left field for as hard as he hits the ball. Because at third base, it obviously gets on you a lot faster than it does at short. Strike 1.
He said, I don't care whether I play third or short as long as I play, and hit in the first 9.
He said, I'll catch.
Yeah.
Probably a good enough athlete to do it. As ball 1 bounces in, a ball and a strike. Cabrera had a nice night last night, 5 out of 14 in this LCS with a home run. That came in game 2.
When a guy smiles like that, he's supremely confident. You can understand why.
Yeah, you can know why with his body of work as a big leaguer. He's only 30.
Inside.
And specifically against Leicester. 11 out of 21 with 6 walks and only 1 strikeout facing this Boston left-hander.
You know, Joe, if I'm a left-handed pitcher like Leicester relies on power, pitching to as powerful a man as Cabrera, I can't see any holes in his swing.
Good pitch the Red Sox don't get, and the count goes to 3-1.
Some pitchers speak in quadrants. Down and away, up and away, down and in, up and in. That ball is very close, but he didn't get the call. Dangerous pitch coming up for Leicester.
On 3-1 with Fielder on deck. That's outside and a 1-out walk. And Leicester stares in at home plate umpire Dale Scott. Here are tonight's 4 keys to the game.
We talked about it in our opening. The Red Sox will try to score early. Obviously, they'll try that. They've led in only 4 innings. 4. That's of 37 innings that they played. And be relentless. That's what Jim Leyland wants his starters to continue to do. And he's got the right guys out there. They have been on a roll. Oof.
Prince Fielder, however, has not. No RBIs in his last 16 postseason games. You have to go back to last year's ALCS Game 2 against the Yankees for his last RBI. So they're waiting around here for the big first baseman to get into a baseball and drive it with some authority. We really have not seen Fielder hit the ball hard yet in this ALCS. 25 home runs during the regular season, drove home 106. Up to get it, fouled it back, strike 2. Leicester trying to get around a 1-out walk to Cabrera with Victor Martinez on deck. Lefty on lefty here. Outside, Fielder wouldn't chase it. Ball 1.
Thing about the 2 big men in the Tiger lineup, Cabrera and Fielder, they're both very good 2-strike hitters. Do not strike out a lot.
That bounces in, 2-2. If you can read that through all the marks from hitting baseballs, Prince Fielder's using Miguel Cabrera's bat. Why not?
If you're going to use any bat on that team, it should be his.
Here's a 2-2. Chopped up the middle, base hit. Cabrera will hold at second as Fielder has his 4th hit of this ALCS.
Miguel Cabrera's bat finds a hole. This ball had some nasty top spin on it and just shoots by Stephen Drew, who's playing Fielder up the middle.
In case you're wondering why, as Victor Martinez digs in for the Tigers with 2 on 1 out, why it's Bogarts at third base, not his normal position at shortstop. John Farrell, the manager of the Red Sox, wants the defensive presence of Stephen Drew at short. And those infielders looking for a double play ball as Victor Martinez stands in, hitting .429 this postseason.
He led the American League and grounded into double plays with 23.
Strike one. He's the switch hitting DH, former catcher in DH. And in his postseason career against left-handed pitching, his damage has come from the other side of the plate, hitting only 171. Batting right-handed with one of his 5 postseason home runs. He hits .368 left-handed. Pretty good rip. Strike two. One-out walk to Cabrera. Fielder bounced a base hit up the middle. Pitch number 16 of this first inning coming from John Lester. Into center field. Ellsbury right there. Barely had to move. 2 out. And the inning will fall into the lap of Johnny Peralta. Frustration for Victor Martinez, who we had a chance to visit with before the game. His knee is fine. He missed all of last year with a torn ACL in his left knee. He's been dealing with a quad issue. That's why we've seen him limp around the bases a little bit, but he didn't come through for Detroit. Now it's up to Peralta, hitting .385 this postseason. A guy with 6 LCS home runs in his career. He rips one down the line into the corner. This ball is foul. And on this cold night, it carried just about to the wall, 345 feet away.
Johnny Peralta with 5 hits in the ALCS. All of them have been pulled. All of them have been high, including that last foul ball that could have been trouble for the Red Sox down the left field line.
Peralta had 3 hits in game 1. Batting with 2 on, 2 out. He takes inside, ball 1.
That's good policy by Lester. He came back with the same pitch that Peralta pulled the foul down the left field line. It misses inside, but that's good strategy by both Ross and Lester.
John Farrell likes the way these two work together. The catcher, the veteran. David Ross for the Red Sox. Lester on the mound. That's foul. And now the count 1-2.
Johnny Peralta, a high ball hitter, as we said, and most high ball hitters have quicker bats than low ball hitters, which means that you can jam low ball hitters, and that's also why most left-handed hitters are good low ball hitters. But Peralta, he likes it up.
Left side base hit. Cabrera is going to be brought to the plate. Now they hold him late. He runs through it, and he is an easy out to end the first. Brookins waved him, then stopped him, but Cabrera kept coming. And the throw from Johnny Gomes, one hop, perfect to the plate. And it's a scoreless first inning here in Game 5. A late stop sign put up. Cabrera kept running, and we go to the second, scoreless. First inning here in the second is Napoli's first up. He'll be followed by Gomes and Stephen Drew against Anibal Sanchez. That's inside, ball 1. Cabrera has been dealing with a groin injury. Not running well at all, having a tough time turning, going around the third base bag. And He ran into the out to end the first.
Even with 2 strikes and 2 outs, that's when a base runner at second base can get the extra step or 2 that could be required for him to be safe at home, but not so. He was out by 10 feet.
Good strong throw by Gomes, who had 5 assists during the regular season. He's got a big one here in game 5. Count 2-1 on Napoli, who is 3 for 12. Had 2 hits last night. Takes ball 3. Little different looking Sanchez here in game 5 than we saw in game 1, and a little bit more patient on the part of the Red Sox even here early, facing this good right-hander for the Tigers. As Napoli hits one into center, back at the wall, the Red Sox lead it on a blast to center by Mike Napoli. It's 1-0. 3-1 pitch, and Mike Napoli hits his second home run of this postseason.
That is the perfect word for the ball just hit by Napoli. Blast. Only downside to hitting a ball that far is coming in and having the hair on your chinny chin pulled hard. It hurts.
Center field is 420 feet from home plate, and that went up into the shrubbery in the batter's eye, way up that wall out there. Now Gomes fouls it back, strike 1.
Check this out. Fastball count way over that 420 sign. Way over it. That ball might have been hit 470 feet.
1 ball, 1 strike on Johnny Gomes.
Mike Napoli takes terrific care of himself during the offseason. In fact, a couple of years ago in 2011, he used to work out with Miguel Cabrera in Fort Lauderdale.
Here's a pop foul back here.
Talk about using the bottom part of your body when you hit, only to have the top half of your body pulled when you get back to the dugout.
1-2 the count on Gomes. With Drew to follow, then Bogarts. That's hit at Cabrera. Got a bad hop. You can see that. It came up on Miguel Cabrera. Gomes will reach. We'll see if it's a hit or an error. It's E5, but this ball took a funny bounce.
Came up on him. But that's a big league error. So after the home run, a hop that goes the Red Sox way. Still nobody out.
Second error by Cabrera this postseason, first of this series. The batter will be Stephen Drew, still trying to get to the replay of Miguel Cabrera coming around third, being thrown out at the plate in the first inning. Here is Drew, and that's a grounder foul, right side.
After the first game, John Farrell was asked by the press why the Red Sox haven't tried to bunt on Miguel Cabrera. He said at times he's 45 feet from home plate. I don't know how Miguel can look.
Here's one that
any kind of bunt play. Excuse me, Joe.
Here's one that just trickled away, not far enough for Gomes, who was almost picked off. Not far enough for him to get down to second. He was late getting back to the bag on that throw over by Sanchez. 0-1 on Stephen Drew. That's strike 2.
Here's that play with 2 outs. Johnny Peralta again, a base hit in the hole. Watch Cabrera and watch third base coach Tom Brookins. The reason that he waved him until Cabrera rounded the bag, he was seeing what left fielder Johnny Gomes was going to do. Had he dropped the ball, he sends him. When he caught the ball, he was going to hold him, and Miguel Cabrera ran through the stop sign. out by plenty.
Here's the 0-2. Drew strikes out. One away. Now 1 for 14 with 7 strikeouts is Stephen Drew.
Two-seamer. Effective.
Now 1 on, 1 out. And here's Xander Bogaerts. 21 years old. Got a hit last night in his only at bat. He doubled in the 9th inning. And he gets the start tonight. He is the top prospect and was all year in the organization for the Red Sox. And like John Farrell told us, this guy is so likable. Typically with a guy who's labeled as the top prospect, there's jealousy in the organization for some of the other players. Everybody is a fan in the Red Sox organization of Xander Bogaerts.
What a delightful young man to fans and players alike. From Aruba, which is about a 10 or 15-minute flight from Curacao.
An autonomous member of the Kingdom of the Netherlands is Aruba. Xander speaks 4 different languages as he swings through that pitch from Sanchez, strike 1. So while Xander's teammates got a look at Anibal Sanchez in game 1, Xander has not had that look, and that first swing showed it. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, 1 out. Down the left field line, that ball is headed for the corner. Going to third is Gomes, into second is Bogaerts, and the guy John Farrell inserted into his lineup has got a double here in the second.
Turning 21 years old on October 1st. Sanchez hangs that slider too much of the plate, and Bogaerts makes him pay. Good base running by both Gomes and Bogart, going to third and second easily.
And so Bogaerts delivers for Farrell, getting the start. Now it's up to David Ross, who hit only .216 during the regular season. Their better hitting catcher is on the bench in Saltalamacchia. Second and third, ball 1. Gomes the runner at third, Bogaerts at second. And Sanchez steps off. Here's a 1-0 pitch. That is ripped into left. Back at the wall. It's over the head of Peralta. 1 run scores. They hold Bogaerts on an RBI double by David Ross. It's 2-0 Red Sox here in the second.
And Bogaerts grabbing his helmet at third base, knowing he made a mistake. A line drive to left field with 1 out. You do not go back and tag up. You go halfway. That's a 21-year-old mistake right there. And the rule of thumb is you get as far off the bag, the closer the outfielder gets to the fence. You've got to go halfway because you've got to be in a position to score. He went back to tag up, and he knew immediately, and he just grabbed his helmet, upset with himself.
Now it's second and third. Only 1 run scores on the double. David Ross, who's in the lineup more for what he does behind the plate, delivers at the plate with a bat in his hands, and here's Ellsbury. Now it's Bogaerts at third, Ross at second, still only 1 out. And they're pinched in at the corners for the Tigers on their infield. Strike 1.
Here it is right here. Gomes scores easily, and Bogaerts knew he made a mistake by not going halfway, being in a position to score.
Rick Porcello getting ready for the Tigers in their bullpen. So early runs for the first time. This Boston offense clicks against a Tiger starter in the early innings. Here's a ball off the glove of Sanchez. A run scores and everybody's safe. And in the end for Boston, no harm, no foul as Bogart scores. Ross goes to third. It's 3-0 Boston here in the second.
When you're at third base, you try to watch the line drive. Bogarts did off the glove of Sanchez. He scores easily. First and third and only one out.
And now Jeff Jones will pay a visit, the pitching coach for the Tigers, to Anibal Sanchez. An inning that started with a home run. We've seen 2 doubles and a single and an error mixed in. Let's go down to Aaron Andrews.
Well, Joe, in terms of facing Anibal Sanchez for a second time, we talked to Red Sox hitting coach Greg Colburn today about this, and he told us, look, one thing that this team is so great at doing is seeing and making adjustments against a pitcher during a game. And I talked to David Ross about that. He said the biggest reason why we've been successful doing this is we're all baseball junkies. We love every detail and every nuance of the game. We have to communicate this to each other throughout this game because Detroit pitchers don't and won't give you a lot.
Well, the adjustments have paid off here in the second inning. The 21-year-old rookie mixed in the number 8 spot. Now the runner goes and Ellsbury takes second base uncontested.
Shane Victorino, a good base runner in his own right, realizing Ellsbury was running, faked the bunt. That is so frustrating for a catcher when a hitter puts that bat head right in front of your eyes and it throws your timing off. No throw by Avila.
That's the 5th stolen base this postseason for Ellsbury. And his first of this ALCS. The infield is in. Victorino chops to second. Throw home and out at the plate. Big collision from David Ross as he just plowed into Avila, who held on for out number 2.
That's why you bring the infield in. Runners are on at second and third. I love that strategy by John Farrell, telling Brian Butterfield to send David Ross. You remember Miguel Cabrera ran over David Ross in the bottom of the first inning, and now it's Ross's turn. And then he pats him on the rear end and understands it because he's a catcher also.
Jim Leland went to the home plate umpire Dale Scott. I think they're going to check on the health of Avila. And they are, to make sure he's okay after that collision, which was violent at the plate, with Ross lowering his shoulder into the right shoulder of Avila. And Alex says he's okay. Ross got up and patted Avila on his way back to the dugout, but that was a serious collision.
I think he got him more on the right arm, and there wasn't the neck and the head involved that could have been a little more serious. But when you have a 3-run lead in the early innings, and even with the infield in, you take that chance of trying to score the runner from third.
So it's a fielder's choice hit into by Victorino, with Infante throwing home. Both Avila and Ross missed time. The 2 catchers missed time this year, suffering with concussions. There didn't appear to be any contact. The head of Avila, a lot of shoulder and arm. Now the count's gone to 2-0 on Pedroia. On this cold night, Avila got hit hard by David Ross.
I was trying to illustrate those 2 little paddings off the left and right shoulder of Alex Avila. That could have helped a little bit.
This should end the inning. Infante flips. It's a big inning for the Red Sox here on the road. Behind their ace, John Lester, they come up with 3 runs in the inning that started with that from Mike Napoli. A home run to straightaway center. RBIs by Ross and Ellsbury. In Game 5, Boston on top. 3-0 in the second. Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. After the top of the second inning, Alex Avila went in, got attention from the trainer with the Tigers. He is one of the tougher guys you'll run across, Alex Avila, and he's thankfully able to continue in the on-deck circle with Infante showing a bunt, taking a ball from John Lester. Omar 2 out of 14. He has moved up one spot from last night. Maybe better said, Avila moves one spot down against a left-hander, and there's a strike from Lester. It's Infante, Avila, and Austin Jackson for the Tigers, down 3-0 here in the second inning. Infante with a cue shot to short. Caught by Drew, 1 out. Here comes Avila, who suffered a concussion on August 8th because of this foul tip. That's Nick Swisher swinging the bat in Cleveland. And about 3 weeks of missed time for Alex Avila. Then that look from right in front of home plate, getting that big hit from David Ross, who missed a total of 65 games because of concussions this season. Those two catchers came together, and Avila hung on, and he's able to keep going. Strike one from Lester.
The medical community obviously knows a lot more about concussions now, and precautions are taken. I know you work with Troy Aikman in football. Troy had, what, 7 concussions?
Yeah, 7 or 8.
And I played 50 years ago, and I don't know how many I had, but in those days, being concussed was not that big a deal. Nobody knew anything about it. But it does, someone who's a little older, has played and been popped in the head a bunch of times, it is a concern. And it's a concern that you can't do anything about, but a concern nonetheless.
1 out, nobody on. 1-1 pitch is flied into left. Gomes came in, goes back to make the catch. 2 out. He broke in and then was able to recover for the second out here in the second. Still spitting out seeds as he was making his way back near the track.
That one step in can make things difficult on the back end. But Johnny made the catch before it hit the ground.
Batter will be Austin Jackson. Baseball now has a 7-day concussion disabled list.
Right.
Which is something teams can use to monitor a player's progress trying to bounce back after a concussion and not having to put a player on a 15-day disabled list. It takes a little bit of the pressure off both sides in that case. Trainer still making sure with Avila that he's all right. The ball and a strike on Austin Jackson, who last night had a big night for somebody who was moved out of the leadoff spot into the number 8 position, was on base all 4 times. 2 hits, 2 walks. That's outside, 2-1. Since coming to the Tigers, all but 24 plate appearances for Austin Jackson have come in the leadoff spot. Here's the 2-1. That's on the corner, 2-2. Jim Leyland moved him out of that leadoff spot to take the pressure off Jackson, and Jim was pleased to hear Austin say after the game that it did just that. And it looked it with the way he was patient at the plate, plus the 2 hits. 2-2.
Alex Avila doesn't look right to me.
Still trying to shake it off.
Yeah.
Here's 2-2. Up the middle. Austin Jackson is on base 5 straight times. And he keeps the second inning alive with a base hit into center.
I think all of us connected to the game, I think we're ultra sensitive about that, and we should be, as the medical community is, not collisions.
Here's Iglesias, the number 9 man, who is 2 out of 7 in this ALCS. Had an RBI last night. But since the All-Star break is hitting only 184 against left-handed pitching. And only 111 overall since the second week of September. But you wouldn't know that by his demeanor. He is still bouncing around, happy, smiling. He loves to play this game. Born in Cuba, bounces it foul right side, strike 1.
Ken Rosenthal and I were talking about 4 hours before game time about who Jose Iglesias reminded us of. And we thought Ray Ordonez, the former shortstop for the New York Mets, was a good comparison. And Ken asked Iglesias if he had ever heard of Ordonez. He said, oh, yeah, I met him several times. And he knew that he had 3 gold gloves. And you could put some gold gloves in the future of that young man at the plate right there.
1 on, 2 out, 0-1 the count. They talk about quick hands. Steve Horn, our editorial consultant, will tell you he talks to scouts. And there are some very respected scouts who will say he's got the best hands at getting the ball out of his glove and away from his body. They compare him to Roberto Alomar.
Wow. That's special. The Hall of Famer.
Count goes to 2-1.
Some guys have quick hands to catch the ball, but they can't make the transfer as quickly as a guy like Iglesias.
Justin Verlander trying to cheer up Avila on the bench. This crowd that's cold on a damp night in Detroit trying to get cheered up. As the count goes to 2-2, taking off for second on a ball that got away is Jackson. And he's there with 2 out.
There was a slight delay of Jackson at first base, and the reason he delayed, he couldn't see how far the ball was behind Ross. There's the delay, and there's the run. The throw is wide toward third.
The pitch was a strike. It's a pass ball on Ross. And a 2-2 count on Iglesias, and that's no small thing with Iglesias at the plate. A base hit with the speed of Jackson. Put the Tigers on the board here in the second. Here's a 2-2. Jammed him. Foul ball. John Lester, who has been through a lot in his young life. 29 years old. Battled through non-Hodgkin's lymphoma back in 2006 after he first got to the big leagues. And he has developed into the ace of this staff for the Red Sox. The strikeout and the throwout ends the second. A hit by Jackson, the pass ball. He's left stranded. The Tigers have lost a man at the plate and stranded 2. We've played 2 in game 5. Red Sox up 3-0. Tiger right-hander. You look at the numbers, and a little different story tonight from game 1 that brought to you by T-Mobile. Nationwide data is going global with coverage in over 100 countries at no extra charge. There are the numbers here tonight. After 6 hitless innings in game 1 with 12 strikeouts, 6 walks, he deals with David Ortiz, who grounded out his first time and who is 1 for 16 in this series. took a strike. And now a ball down to Ken Rosenthal we go. Ken.
Joe, Alex Avila, it is not a concussion issue at all. He twisted his left knee in that collision with David Ross. He's okay, staying in the game, but obviously this is one tough man.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I mean, he proves that seemingly day after day. Max Scherzer is on the headset down in the Tigers dugout. As you look at this collision again, Max, you're throwing to a guy when you pitch to Avila that will give you everything he's got.
I mean, exactly. He takes so many foul balls right off the mask, off his arms, off his shoulders, and every single day he just gets worn out. But he goes out there every single time and plays just as hard. So it's almost like this collision doesn't even mean anything to him.
Here is check swing. He went around 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's got to be comforting. I sit next to an ex-catcher up here in the broadcast booth. It's got to be comforting for a guy out on the mound knowing that the guy behind the plate is going to give you what Avila gives you every time.
Yeah, it is comforting, but at the same time, watching some of the balls that go off his mask, man, you just wonder how much damage he's doing. But like you said, he plays as hard as he can. He gives you everything he's got.
Here's a 2-2. Ortiz's jam. But that is falling into left center, and what a catch! Unbelievable by Iglesias out of nowhere.
We told you about his quick hands. What a remarkable play, and watch how far he goes. You got to be kidding me.
I mean, that Max Scherzer, you're watching that from field level. That is incredible.
That ball was down. I thought it was a hit. I don't know how I got there.
Looked like a Cirque du Soleil act.
Yeah, those hands are fast, just like you said.
Even David Ortiz has to applaud that. He was on the other side of the second base bag. And we got you applauding down there, Max, as well. That is incredible how far he went. Here is Napoli, who hit a home run his first time up. Well, here you are, Max. Your rotation's been so good. And we'll look at Sanchez as we go through tonight. But you get another crack at the Red Sox at Fenway Park on Saturday night. I bet you can't wait to get out there.
It's going to be fun. That's one of the best venues to pitch at. The atmosphere is always electric. And you're going against one of the best teams in the American League, obviously, or one of the best teams. What more do you want? This is what you play for. All the chips on the table.
Even with the monster in left field, it's still one of your favorite parks, Max?
Minus that part.
Take that out of it. Here's one hammered into left. Back at the wall. It's one hop and over for a double for Napoli. Mike Napoli is heating up. He's homered, doubled. He had a couple of hits last night, including a double. And he's at second with 1 out here in the 3rd inning on a high delivery. It was riding in from Sanchez.
Looked like a high changeup from Anibal. Ground rule double.
You, Max Scherzer, have to look back at your start in Game 2, and I mean, there's nothing to change there. You have to be proud of what you did. What's your overall attack without revealing too much to us here tonight going into Saturday?
Really try to keep it simple. Do a lot of the same thing. Pitch with 4 pitches and throw strike 1. They're a great team. They pound your mistakes. And if I work ahead in the count, I always feel like I can be successful. And that's the same approach I'm going to do in Game 6.
We talk about strike 1 being such an important pitch, Max. It's nice to hear you confirm what we talk about occasionally up here.
Yeah, it's the best pitch in the game.
It certainly is.
Runner at second, 1 out. Gomes at the plate, reached on an error on a funny hop over at third, his first time and scored. That's in the dirt, 1-1. We won't keep you much longer, Max, but I'll ask you about this Boston lineup. So much written, so much said about how they make a pitcher work. Are you aware of that when you're out on the mound? And if so, how do you try and combat that?
Oh, of course. They grind out ABs. They foul your pitcher's pitch. They do everything, but it all goes back to you got to work ahead in the count because they do so much damage against your mistakes. So for me, I got to keep it simple and be aggressive with them and throw strike 1. Make sure I'm getting the 1-2 before 2-1 and stuff like that. Because when you do that, that puts yourself in line for success.
Well, Max, good luck on Saturday. Thanks, as always, for joining us from down in the dugout.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
All right. Max Scherzer, one of the game's, obviously, you can tell in 2 seconds. Real good guys. 29-year-old. And, I mean, can you just give him the Cy Young now? 21-3?
I would.
You called that week 1.
I just thought that maturity level and his stuff were coming together at the same time. I think they have.
Sanchez thought about third, gets the out at first. Gomes grounds out. Over to third is Napoli. And think what this inning would be without this play from Iglesias on the pop-up into no man's land off the bat of Ortiz.
Obviously an easier play had he been playing straight up at shortstop, but he was on the right side of second base because of the shift.
I mean, it almost looked like he was just throwing his left hand out there.
Yeah, it did.
Just to give it a flash.
Yeah, to give it a try. Well, that try turned into an out.
To start this third inning. Then the double by Napoli. Gomes grounded out. The batter is Stephen Drew, who is struggling, dying to get hot here. 1 for 14. Struck out his first time. He's got a runner at third. He can run. Cabrera even with a bag, maybe a step in front of it over at third base. Strike one on Drew. Plays Stephen Pohl in the outfield. The kid, Xander Bogaerts, on deck. Red Sox leading here in game 5, 3-0. As we play in the top of the third. Here comes a 1-1. Strike two. Sanchez has struck out 2. Not issued a walk, and he got this pitch past the bat of Stephen Drew. Runner at third, 2 out. And that floats away, and you can see, you heard from Kenny Rosenthal that it's a knee issue after that collision. You can see the way Avila went after that on this cold night. That knee is tight.
And plus he was setting up inside. The ball went outside. And Avila limping out of that crouch. He's in some pain.
Ryan Pena has not appeared this postseason. He's the backup to Avila. Here's a 2-2. That bounces in, and in comes the runner Napoli to make it 4-0 Boston. And so a wild pitch. Avila could not corral it. And it's a 4-0 game here in the third inning.
Joe, we showed that package of strikeouts by the Boston Red Sox in game 1, and those were on balls down in the dirt. Well, Sanchez throws one down in the dirt here, and Avila can't come up with it, and Napoli scores easily.
So a run scoring on the wild pitch, and now a 3-2 to Drew. Reaching for it, he grounds to Infante. Inning over. Red Sox add to their lead. A 1-out double by Napoli, scores on the wild pitch. 4-0 Red Sox into the bottom of the third inning in game 5. In October, catch the top defensive plays and enter for a chance to win an all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado at ChevyBaseball.com. Between innings, Jim Leland got in on the discussion with Alex Avila. I'm sure a reaction to watching him limp on that pitch that got away.
Sure.
That floater that went up and away out of the hand of Anibal Sanchez. As the leadoff man is up for the Tigers, down 4-0 here in the third inning. 1 ball, 1 strike on Torrey Hunter. Jim Leland is a former catcher in his playing days. Here's a ground ball to Bogaerts. 1 away. Hunter 0 for 2, and the batter will be Cabrera. Before and after every postseason game. MLB Network has all the highlights and breakdowns from the award-winning analysts of MLB Tonight. All the postseason drama, all in one place. Go to MLBnetwork.com for schedule and channel number. Here's Cabrera. Miguel reached on and walk his first time up, and then was thrown out at the plate on a one-hop strike from Johnny Gomes to end the first inning. Red Sox went to work in the second, got 3, one of them an unearned run, and then scored on a wild pitch in the top of this third. They lead 4-0. There's a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. Outside, 2-1. Lester, a 15-game winner during the regular season. Brings home a 2-1. That is down the right field line, slicing into the corner. Foul. 2-2.
Talked about his first time up. How do you keep Miguel Cabrera from making solid contact? There's nothing you could do consistently on the mound to prevent that.
That is strikeout number 2.
That was a good cutter right there. Cabrera thought it was outside, but Dale Scott, the home plate umpire, stayed with it. You can see the trajectory of that ball. A cut fastball by design, outside part of the plate. Cabrera thought it was outside, but Lester gets the call.
That's only the second time John Lester has struck out Miguel Cabrera.
Is that right?
Second time to go with 6 walks and 11 hits in now 22 at bats. Fielder grounds out. That was Drew on the other side of the bag. And the top of the order goes in order in the 3rd inning for Detroit. Interesting game here in Game 5. Series tied 2-2. Boston leads tonight 4-0. Policy. And by the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and Galaxy Gear. How about 3 things you need to know about Xander Bogaerts as he digs in to lead off in the 4th inning? We hit the first point early in the ball game. Bogaerts has got a double and a run scored. He speaks 4 different languages. Born in Aruba, the youngest Red Sox player to ever start a postseason game. Good pitch from Sanchez, a ball and a strike. Could have been 5 different languages, but he bowed out of learning French.
Yeah.
He started it. Difficult, too much, and he just kept it at 4.
You should have said we.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Two and 2. Xander Bogaerts trying to reach for the 3rd consecutive time in this series. He strikes out looking. Let's get to know him a little bit. The rookie, 21-year-old.
Mi nombre es Xander Bogaerts, shortstop van de Boston Red Sox. Mitad de Isla Aruba, isla contento. Let's go Sox!
Even threw a little Boston accent in there.
He is a delightful young man. Very, very smart.
Here's David Ross. Ken Rosenthal has been digging around and spent some time with Xander before the game. Ken, give us more on Bogaerts.
Well, the Red Sox actually signed him at the same time as his twin brother Jair. They originally came to look at Jair when Xander was just 16 in Aruba. Xander was in bed with a chicken pox that day. He still has the scars on his face, but his mom let him go to the tryout, and the Red Sox, well, it was baseball love at first sight. They signed Xander for $410,000, Jair for $180,000. Jair now out of baseball. His claim to fame, guys, was that he was traded with Theo Epstein in that convoluted, complex compensation package when Theo went to the Cubs.
Convoluted, complex compensation package.
Oh, boy. That's all Alex Avila needs. Man,
able to shake that one off.
This was, oh, boy.
Right off the mask.
You can see him opening that mouth. That means a jaw problem right there. Said he's all right.
The guy that plowed into him is the man at the plate, David Ross. That happened back in the second. A 3-run second for the Red Sox. They lead 4-0 here in the fourth. 1 out, nobody on. And the 0-2 pitch from Sanchez. And now he has to try and block a ball in the dirt. He has just been a baseball magnet all season long for the Tigers.
You can just see his body language. He's leaning on his right knee because his left knee is the one that is bothering him.
A 1-2. 2-2. Travel day tomorrow in this series. Game 6 is Saturday. We don't know the start time yet because it depends on what happens tomorrow night in St. Louis. Here's a 2-2. Reaching for it. Ross has got another hit. He's 2 for 2 as he finds the hole into left for a 1-out single.
That's that breaking ball, and he hooks it right between Cabrera and Iglesias. Again, the breaking ball, not away like Sanchez wanted it.
We heard Aaron Andrews talk about Greg Colbran, longtime big leaguer and now the hitting coach for John Farrell. Adjustments, video, personal experience after game 1, and a completely different look against Sanchez here in game 5. Ellsbury, strike 1. Jacoby has a hit, an RBI. It was an infield hit off the glove of Sanchez in that 3-run second. And then he stole a base, his first of this ALCS. Here's the 0-1. Late swing by Jacoby, strike 2. Porcello again getting loose. Sanchez 1-1 this postseason. Lost game 3 of the division series against the A's here. Winner in game 1. He's on the short end now. 4-0 as he misses low with ball 1 to Ellsbury. Something you talked about coming into tonight's game and what the starters have done through the first 4. Different story tonight. Ellsbury chops one to Infante. Iglesias able to turn the double play. What a weapon he is at short.
Watch.
And a strong arm with a good dig out of the dirt by Fielder on the back end of it. Double play sends us into the bottom of the fourth. 4-0 Boston. John Lester leads 4-0 as he goes back to work in the bottom of the fourth inning. Victor Martinez, Johnny Peralta, and Omar Infante will be the hitters. It looks like Alex Avila's night is finished after the collision, the foul tip off the mask. Just the punishment his body has taken over the last couple of days. Peeking into that dugout, it looked like Jim Leyland said, get Brian Pena ready. Victor Martinez fly to center with 2 on 1 out back in the first. Pena getting set to go. Here's a 1-0. Back up the middle. Leadoff man is on for the Tigers in the fourth inning. Let's watch the last 2 days. Painful 2 days for Alex Avila. Started with that foul tip off his foot. Between innings, he was talking with Jim Leyland, and you can see Leyland say, we're going to Pena.
Alex Avila's spot comes up 3 more hitters. So Brian Pena may be a pinch hitter before he goes into catch.
Switch hitting catcher. Leadoff man is on. The batter is Peralta, who hits it off the end of the bat foul. Strike 1. Talking about the life of John Lester going through non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2006. He's worked a lot with a mental skills coach the Red Sox have around at their disposal, Bob Tewksbury, who not only is good for these players to talk to, but pitched in the big leagues and was an all-star back in the mid-90s as Peralta leans back from ball 1. Lester's done a lot of work with Tewksbury, and he's not alone. From New Hampshire, Tewksbury, so a New Englander. Never did pitch for the Red Sox, but they use that as one of the resources to help these guys on a daily basis. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, nobody out. Strike 2. On deck is Infante. After Infante, it's Pena. Not officially, but it looks that way as Avila left the dugout, went back into the clubhouse. Here comes a 1-2 from Lester. High fly ball into center. Peralta got under it. Ellsbury is there, and that's out number 1. Peralta serves as his own bat boy. Picks up his bat. Bat boy went out for no reason. Here's Infante. Omar tonight lined out. He lined out to short, kind of a cue shot off the end of his bat. There's Brian Pena. So the easy lip reading was correct. Infante 2 out of 15 in this LCS. Ball 1 outside. Lester beat Tampa Bay in game 1 of the division series 12-2. Pitched into the 8th inning in that one. The tough luck loser in game 1 on Saturday night in this LCS. That's ball 2.
Talked about it in our opening that John Lester was looking for a repeat performance tonight. And so far, the Red Sox have seen it. Giving up only 1 run in 6 innings, even though he did take the loss in that 1-0 Detroit win in game 1.
He's allowed 4 hits. He's walked 1. He struck out 2. Here's a 2-0. Right down the middle to Infante, 2-1. We want you to be a part of the MLB playoffs on Fox. Connect with us and all baseball fans. Use hashtag postseason in all of your social updates. Here's a 2-1. That's foul. 2-2. Omar hitting just 247 since the second week of September. The Tigers try to string together hits here against Lester in the fourth.
When we talked to Victor Martinez before the game, we asked him about John Lester in double play situations. He said to him, he'll throw that two-seam fastball that goes away from a right-handed batter, trying to induce the double play.
That's ball 3.
Usually, the two-seam fastball, that's a breaking ball right there, but the two-seam fastball gets ground balls. The four-seam fastball is for strikeouts and pop-ups, generally.
Three-two pitch. Foul again. You see that promo, and we'll do more with it. Popping up on your screen, Being Mariano, which is something that any baseball fan, not just Yankee fan, really any sports fan, should check out. Here's another 3-2 pitch. 1 on, 1 out. And it's 2 on after the second walk handed out by Lester tonight. Now it's Brian Pena with his first at bat of the postseason.
What a position that puts him in now. Tigers trailing by 4. They need a hit. They need a run or 2 or 3 or 4. Juan Nieves out to talk to John Lester.
Remember this moment from the All-Star game at Citi Field in New York. Every other player stayed away. And the best to ever do what he does in the big leagues, close games, was out there by himself. Sunday, you can experience the emotional journey of one of baseball's all-time greats through devastating injury in the final days of his remarkable career. Being Mariano premieres Sunday on Fox with a special encore presentation Tuesday on Fox Sports 1. That Metallica music is linked to Mariano Rivera for the rest of time. Here's Brian Pena, ball 1 outside. Good numbers for Pena against Lester, 7 out of 17, and this guy, a switch hitter with some pop, hit just under 300 during the regular season.
229 plate appearances. He can hit.
Two and 0. It's sometimes one of those guys you least expect to step up and do something big in October, and Pena is getting his first at bat right here, right now, with his team down 4-0. 2 on, 1 out. The 2-0 pitch. 3-0.
Highly uncharacteristic of Lester. 4-run lead. He walks Infante, and now the pinch hitter Brian Pena. It's 3-0.
Strike one. Back to Lester. Throw to second for one out. On to first for the double play. Napoli digs it out on the throw by Stephen Drew. A floating throw from Lester. The double play ends the threat. Sends us 4-0 into the fifth. Red Sox on top in Game 5. Back after this from your local Fox station. League position player to start a postseason game. Good question to ask on a night when Xander Bogaerts, 21 years old, starts for the Red Sox. Brian Pena stays in the ballgame, does the catching. In case you're wondering, for the Tigers, their emergency catcher is Don Kelly. Jim Leyland has always told us that he would use Kelly in an emergency. He's caught once in the big leagues in 2011. Avila's out for the rest of the night. The other way they could go if they want to lose the DH, Victor Martinez, former catcher, caught 3 games this year. There is a bouncer to fielder for out number 1. Victorino's 0 for 3. Bring in Dustin Pedroia in a 4-0 game as we play in the 5th inning of Game 5. Dustin 1 for 2. We got a 2-out base hit in the first. Bounced into a force out to end that long 2nd inning when the Red Sox sent 8 men to the plate and scored 3 runs on 4 hits. First pitch a strike from Sanchez, and now a ball.
It's interesting to note that if Alex Avila is lost for the LCS, you can replace him, but then you lose him for the World Series if the Tigers make it to the World Series.
That's out of play right side for strike 2. Yeah, any player that's replaced on an active roster is automatically ineligible for the next round. Avila's an important part of this team and somebody that Jim Leyland really counts on. These guys love him. He is tough, as he has proven 3 Octobers in a row and just about every day for the Tigers and their fans that watch Alex do his thing behind the plate.
Well, he was schooled well. Talked about his grandfather, Ralph Avila, the famous scout of the Dodgers, and Alex's father, Al Avila, assistant general manager for the Tigers.
Still 2-2. There's Al in the middle.
So he was schooled well. He realizes that his first responsibility to his pitchers, and all the good catchers do that.
Two-two pitch, breaking ball is flied into center. Austin Jackson coming to get it. 2 up, 2 down against Sanchez here in the 5th. In the bottom half of the inning, it'll be Austin Jackson to lead off. Something he's used to. Then Iglesias, then Torrey Hunter against John Lester as David Ortiz digs in. Still only 1 hit in this series for Ortiz. When you talk about clutch, and obviously he hit the grand slam in Game 2, he didn't like that call. Realize that in his postseason career, David Ortiz is a .370 hitter from the 7th inning on.
Think about that now. You know, that's usually against a setup man and the closer. Arguably, certainly after a good starter, but arguably the toughest reliever that you're going to face, and a time that you can match him up against a left-hander.
That's up and away. So he hit coming into tonight 370 from the 7th inning on, with 7 of his 15 home runs that he's hit in the postseason, and 26 of his RBIs. He's driven in 54 in his postseason career from the 7th on. 2-2. Victor Martinez, who is the DH for the Tigers, spent some time talking to David Ortiz about how you prepare yourself for your at-bats when you're not playing in the field. Victor Martinez, a catcher, settling in as the DH, something he did not like doing his first year 2 years ago. Ortiz is jammed. In comes the left fielder. Peralta won't get there. Ortiz is on with a base hit into left as he dropped it beyond the infield and in front of Johnny Peralta.
It was the same route Jose Iglesias took when he made that sparkling play the last time a ball was hit in that area. The difference is that ball a bit deeper than the previous one.
Here's Napoli. He started the scoring in the second with a home run. Count in his favor, straightaway center. Doubled his next time up. Here's the home run. A no-doubter into center.
Pasted.
You said 470. We've got it at 445.
Okay.
And rides inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Napoli. Either way, it was long.
It was pasted. Ties him up. Those 2 fastballs, the one from Verlander and the one from Sanchez, about in the same spot. A little above the waist. Going to the long pants tonight, like he did when he hit the home run off Verlander his 3rd time up. No red.
Napoli waits for a 2-1 pitch, and that catches the inside corner. Good movement on the fastball. Napoli didn't agree with the call. It's 2-2.
I think Mike thought it was inside. Could have been.
Napoli looking for his 3rd hit of the night. He steps out. Two out in the inning here in the top of the 5th. Into center field. That ball's dropping for the 3rd hit of the night for Mike Napoli. Back-to-back floating singles off the bats of Ortiz and Napoli to bring Gomes to the plate. If you're Anibal Sanchez on this frustrating night, his 5th inning continues on 2 balls that weren't hit well, just hit in the right spots. There's the headbutt at first for Arnie Baylor. First base coach Mike Napoli providing it. Here's Gomes. Talking to John Farrell before the game, he told us about Gomes, the same thing he said prior to game 3, but gave a little more with regard to Gomes getting the start and Daniel Nava starting the game on the bench. Gomes grounds to Iglesias to end the inning, but he'll tell you, Farrell will, the Red Sox have a different look and feel when Gomes is in the lineup. Well, halfway through game 5, they lead the Tigers 4-0. Silverado Along with our producer, Pete Macheska, our director, Bill Webb, Jonathan Evans, technical director. We move into the bottom of the 5th inning here in Game 5. Aaron Stoikov doing his great work in the truck. We will be your home for the rest of the ALCS and the upcoming World Series, which will start in the American League City, either here in Detroit or in Boston. Strike one from Lester to Austin Jackson. Jordan Harrison does the graphics. Ryan Biederman, Victor Gonzalez putting those great tape pieces together. How about Austin Jackson? He may never hit in any other spot but 8th. He's been on base 6 straight times, and he starts the 5th inning with a base hit into center. Here is Jose Iglesias. Here's his play in the 3rd inning. And how far he went to take a hit away from Ortiz. How far did he go? Pythagoras would like that graphic. 133 feet.
That's your theory, huh?
And I mean, he hands just the way he has a bounce to him that's different than most guys we see out on the field. Even at that position, he just looks like he gets to balls quicker and gets rid of them quicker.
Cirque du Soleil, telling you.
Here's a pitch upstairs, ball 1 to Jose, who struck out his first time.
The starting shortstop for the Boston Red Sox this year on opening day.
Big piece to let go.
Yeah.
Jake Peavy was the target. Ben Sherrington. Peavy lost in Game 4 here last night. And the Tigers had to make the deal because they were staring at a suspension for Johnny Peralta coming up. His involvement with biogenesis and that list in his 50-game suspension. So Dave Dombrowski was proactive, got Iglesias. They should have him for a while. Here's a 1-1 pitch, a bunt. Lester bobbles and got the out, flipping it out of his glove.
Iglesias going to argue the play, but I think he was out. Now Rafael Belliard out to protect his shortstop, and now here comes Jim Leyland.
Leland's going to argue. I saw the same thing you did. It looked like Lester just, after bobbling it, flipped it out of his glove to Napoli for the out.
Well, what a play by Lester recovering. You know, as any baseball fan knows, as Iglesias is trying to push the ball by Lester. That pitch was a high fastball. Lester going, his follow-through took him toward the line. He misses it the first time, and now he uses the glove for the shovel to get his man. He was out.
Good call by Dan Iasonia, the first base umpire. Napoli catching in the heel of his glove. Down to second is Jackson. A heavy mist starts to fall here in Detroit with ball 1 to Torrey Hunter.
One more time.
Look how far inside the line Iglesias is. Bench and Iglesias didn't agree that was the right call. Jackson at second, 1 out. And a 1-1 count on Torrey Hunter, who's flied to right, grounded out to third. 10 o'clock straight up here in Detroit. 50-degree night. Wind blowing, rain falling. That's us. Game 5 of this ALCS. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Red Sox leading here tonight before the series goes back to Fenway on Saturday. Strike 2. Rain has been off and on all day. Nothing heavy yet. And the forecast is for this to continue, but nothing heavy coming our way as Phil Pope, the left-hander, starts to get loose as we play in the bottom of the fifth. Hunter set up at a ball and 2 strikes. Popped up. Playable for Ross. 2 out. So with all that, we'll give you a summary of what we've seen so far here in Game 5 over a wet camera lens. I don't know who would volunteer to go clean it off, dry it off. Napoli, big night, 3 hits. He started the scoring with a home run to center and a 3-run second. Leicester is trying to get through the 5th, up 4-0, and Anibal Sanchez has given up 4 runs on 9 hits through 5. What's not on there is Alex Avila, the tough catcher for the Tigers, is out, replaced in the 4th inning by Brian Pena.
Joe, you and I were talking about 10 minutes before game time, and both concurred that the Boston Red Sox should play this game like it was Game 7. That's how important it is, facing Scherzer and Verlander if it gets that far.
That's what's facing the Red Sox and John Farrell. A rematch of Game 2 with Scherzer and Buchholz on Saturday. And if there is a Game 7 on Sunday, Justin Verlander and John Lackey. That good matchup from Game 3. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. But you know these Red Sox, they will fly on the bus, onto the charter, get home, and feel good about getting out of here up 3-2. A team that doesn't scare, a tough team, a team that says, find a way. Here's a 1-1. Outside to Cabrera, who has walked and struck out tonight. Just a 4-run game here in Game 5.
I think Cabrera's looking at David Ross right there. I think Cabrera may have said something to Ross saying, you got that 2-strike pitch outside the last time I was up. You can't have all of them.
Two and 1 the count. Strike 2. For those of you just joining us, the reason why Alex Avila, the catcher for the Tigers, is out of the game. He got that collision from David Ross back in the 2nd. The word was the left knee was bothering Alex when he took a foul tip right off the mask. Here's an up-close look at that collision with David Ross. So he left in the 4th. Ross continues. He flashes the signs for Leicester, who brings home a 2-2. To Cabrera. Full count. Miguel has hit 2 home runs this postseason. 1 swing could cut this lead in half. Had him off balance, and Cabrera spoiled the pitch. That was Boston's side. Detroit's side will be after tonight's game. Win or lose, we've got Max Scherzer, a 21-game winner, going in Game 6. And if there's a Game 7, Justin Verlander, who's been almost untouchable this postseason, would get the ball. So who knows what's in store for this series when we go to Fenway. Another 3-2 pitch to Cabrera. That is a shot into left center field. Ellsbury won't get there, and the Tigers are on the board. It's 4-1.
Watch this. Good pitch. That was the curveball that he fouled off. And Lester comes back with the fastball. That was not a good pitch. Hammered to left center field. Cabrera did that 137 times during the regular season. Drove in a run, and he drives in Detroit's first run tonight.
And now this crowd is thirsty for something out of Prince Fielder. Instead, he grounds one to Pedroia. Fielder's struggles continue. Still no RBIs this postseason for Prince. Tigers on the board 4-1 after 5 in Game 5. Make it great, and by T-Mobile, unleash. Anibal Sanchez will try and get through the 6th inning. It's a 4-1 game now after the RBI by Miguel Cabrera. The scoring started with a tater to center off the bat of Mike Napoli. 3-run second, another run scoring in the 3rd, and a wild pitch. It was 4-0, now 4-1. Austin Jackson doing his part out of the number 8 spot. And here in the 6th inning, it's Stephen Drew. He's frustrated as well. 1 for 15 in this ALCS. Struck out, grounded out. Takes a ball after strike 1. Drew, then Bogarts, then David Ross. Red Sox have pounded out 4 runs on 9 hits, and time is granted at home plate. Rick Porcello, Phil Cope getting loose as Drew is in the hole 1 and 2. Last year, Stephen found himself at the end of the year with the A's. He really added a lot to that team, but struggled in the postseason. Came in hitting less than 150 over the last 2 postseasons. And he's 0 for 3 here tonight. Strikeout number 4 for Sanchez. Tonight's Dodge Durango trivia question: who was the youngest American League position player to start a postseason game? The answer: Mickey Mantle. 19 years, 349 days old when he started Game 1 of the 51 World Series in right. Here's Bogarts. Perfect time to answer that question. The 21-year-old takes a breaking ball for a strike. He is 21 years, 17 days old.
That was Joe DiMaggio's last year, and Mickey Mantle told me that running after a fly ball into right center field at the Polo Grounds, he stepped on a drainage ditch and hurt his knee and had to be sent to the hospital and missed the rest of the season of the series.
Here's a pitch that barely missed. 1 and 2.
It was Game 1. I beg your pardon. It was Game 1, but it was at Yankee Stadium, not the Polo Grounds.
Here's a pitch that's down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dale Scott is the home plate umpire. He's wearing a microphone, and he had a great exchange with David Ross earlier in the game. We'll play it for you now as Bogarts pops it up. Iglesias, the easy play this time. 2 out, and here's their exchange earlier in Game 5.
Doing all right. Look at that beard.
Yeah, right.
You got some gray in that son of a gun.
I don't know what's going to crawl out that on a daily basis, you know. You just
I don't grow this out too much because it's very gray.
Well, I don't grow mine out, but these guys, like, we're doing the beard thing, and I said, hey, I'm going to show my age all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know.
I got fans calling me coach.
Yeah, it's not fair.
No, it's not. A lot of long, hard nights.
Got fans calling me coach.
Coach digs in 2 for 2 with an RBI double and a single. And he's done a good job behind the plate for John Lester. These two have hooked up now. twice in this ALCS, and Lester came in having allowed no runs or 1 run in 6 of his last 12 starts. And since the 8th of August, he's 6-3 with an ERA of just over 2. He's allowed 1 run on 6 hits tonight.
David Ross has been involved in 2 collisions this evening also. One from Miguel Cabrera in the first inning, running through a stop sign at third. And then on the other end with Alex Avila. Alex had to leave the game. Ultimately, David appears to be all right.
1-1. Ball 2-1. Talking about the gray in his beard, telling us before game 1, you know, you always want to present yourself as a young guy to the front office because you're always looking for the next deal.
Sure. Another year or 2, perhaps. The extensions come from his chin.
Here's the 2-1. Outside, 3-1. Bases empty, 2 out. In the bottom of the inning, it'll be Martinez, Peralta, and Infante. Full count. On his last practice swing caught Pena with that backswing, and so he hopped out of there. Time called by Dale Scott. So a full count, 2 out, nobody on here in the 6th. Good rip by Ross.
This approach by the Red Sox tonight totally different, of course, from game 1. Seeing Sanchez the second time choosing strikes instead of balls out of the strike zone at which to swing.
3-2. Strikeout ends the inning. 2 in the frame for Sanchez, 5 on the night. Bottom of the 6th inning rolls in. It'll be Martinez, Peralta, Infante for the Tigers, down 3. We will welcome you inside our broadcast booth after this game summary, which includes this game 5. Anibal Sanchez so good in game 1. David Ortiz with his grand slam tying it in game 2. Napoli the only RBI of game 3. Tigers offense busted out last night, 7 runs. Napoli, another big game here in Detroit, 3 for 3 with a home run, double, and 2 runs scored. The series is tied 2 games apiece. Red Sox lead in game 5, 4-1. And Lester brings home ball 1 to Victor Martinez, who's 1 for 2.
And once again, our scouting report on John Lester tonight. Try to have a repeat performance of game 1, and he gave up 1 earned run in 6 innings. He's given up 1 earned run tonight thus far.
Here's the 1-0. 2-0. Lester got into trouble in the 4th with a leadoff hit by the guy at the plate now, Victor Martinez. Peralta flied out, but Infante walked. Fell behind in the count to Brian Pena, 3-0, but got him on a double play ball. RBI last inning for Miguel Cabrera put the Tigers on the board. They're down by 3. Now the count's 3-0 on Victor Martinez. 3-1. Victor during the regular season hit .301. 14 home runs. Hitting left-handed is his more powerful side. But he's just trying to get on base any way he can to start this sixth. And he has for the leadoff walk. And so now a welcome inside our broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck. That is Tim McCarver. And so far, the Red Sox are getting what they need at the plate against Sanchez and getting what they need on the mound from John Lester.
There's concern, though. He's walked 2 and a 3-0 count on another hitter in the 5th inning. So John Lester wobbling a little bit here. When you have a 3 or 4 run lead, managers do not like to see walks to lead off the inning. Not that they ever do, but particularly when one swing of the bat can inch the Tigers closer.
They've got the guy up there to do it, Johnny Peralta, who is 1 for 2 and who has 6 home runs during the LCS round in his postseason career. Junichi Tozawa getting loose. We're in the 6th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. It was A.J. Pierzynski during our pregame show. He was saying the reason why he thought the Red Sox would win this game was the setup relief being better for Boston than it is for the Tigers.
Yeah, there is no question about that.
It's Tozawa getting loose here in the 6th inning. Here comes a 1-1. Peralta, strike 2.
Well, another example of John Farrell playing this game like it's a game 7. Normally Tozawa comes in the 8th inning, and we're only in the 6th.
The Red Sox bullpen has been so good over the last 5 games, have not allowed an earned run. Opponents hitting under 180 against the bullpen for John Farrell. 17 strikeouts over 16 and 2/3 innings. 1-2 the count. Breaking ball strikes out Peralta. 1 away.
Red Sox finally got Johnny Peralta to swing in a bad pitch. He has been very selective during this series. That curveball outside. That's something you could do when you stay ahead. You heard Max Scherzer earlier talking about how strike 1, the biggest pitch in the game, and he's right.
So the 3rd strikeout of the night for Lester follows the 3rd walk of the night for Lester. 1 on, 1 out for Infante. He's 2 out of 15 in this ALCS. Strike 1. By the way, I mentioned A.J. Pierzynski. A.J., I know you're watching back in the studio. Leland can't wait to see you after he heard you talk about them panicking last night by changing the lineup. There's strike 2. And he followed that with, I love A.J., by the way. I love to give him trouble. And so he's aware that the panic word came out of the mouth of A.J. Pierzynski, and it turned into a 7-run night and a 7-3 win.
The P word.
With a reshuffled lineup for Leland. That's ball 1. And Ross keeps it at the plate. A.J. will be with us in the World Series on the pregame show.
Are you trying to say that if ex-players express an opinion that they could get in trouble with managers? Really?
Here's a 1-2 pitch from Lester. Runner at first, 1 out. Skips in, ball 2.
Not that A.J. is an ex-player, by the way.
Had a good year in Texas.
Yeah.
2-2, the count on Infante. And that's in on the hands. The foul tip caught Infante down low. Where to get him? Looked like the left calf.
It's amazing how many hitters wear that little shin strap for protection on the ankle and hit their calves.
So Infante gets back toward the batter's box, not in there yet. 50-degree night. Rain is stopped. That's good news. Here comes a 2-2. Fouled away. We'll look ahead to Game 6 in this ALCS. We know there will be one, and a rematch of Scherzer and Buchholz. Scherzer, 7 innings, a run on 2 hits, 13 strikeouts, 2 walks in Game 2 against Buchholz, who could not get through the 6th. We don't know when that game will start because it depends on if there's a Game 7 in the NLCS. More on that after the 2-2. Into shallow center. In comes Ellsbury and a base hit. Martinez will stop at second. 2 on, 1 out.
Ellsbury playing Infante very deep. I guess you've got to respect Omar's power. Watch Ellsbury when he makes the trap. Look behind him. I think he may have thought that ball got by him. And he's got it in his glove. He turns around, looks behind him, realizes it's in his glove.
And that flare hit to center is the end of the night for John Lester. John Farrell takes the ball away from the left-hander Lester. He exits as we play here in the 6th inning in Detroit. Outs with the 2 runners on, still his responsibility. Although Junichi Tozawa, I'm sure, doesn't feel that way. They're his responsibility as he takes over here in the 6th inning. Interesting with the switch hitting Pena coming up. Tozawa has been part of this very good bullpen for the Red Sox. Pena hit 4 home runs during the regular season. All 4 were from this side of the plate.
Wow.
And he had a .325 average left-handed, .264 average right-handed.
And a home run in this situation obviously ties the ball game.
So Lester exits. Pena's up. The replacement for Avila, who left with injury in the 4th. And here's Tozawa. 2 on, 1 out. That's into the gap in left center field. They're going to bring the runner to the plate. That's Martinez. It's a 4-2 game.
It looked like Brian Pena was looking for that ball away. He got it, didn't try to do too much with it. It was up and away. He spanked it to left center field. Good hitting by Brian Pena.
Tozawa, who came on to eventually get a huge strikeout in Game 3 of Miguel Cabrera, throws 1 pitch and is greeted by the replacement, Brian Pena, with an RBI base hit into left center. And now Austin Jackson will dig in with 2 on, 2 out. Tying runs are on.
Infante had an idea about going to third base, but he put on the brakes, realizing there are 2 outs.
Strike 1 from Tozawa.
I beg your pardon, 1 out.
Austin Jackson on base all 4 times last night. His first 2 times with 2 hits today. Left side, going to be tough to turn. Bogart's out. Pedroia, they got him the double play. Bogarts to Pedroia, and the tough second baseman for the Red Sox hangs in to turn the 5-4-3 double play.
He jumps over Pena.
And that ends the inning. 4-2 game after 6. Back after this from your local Fox station. Red Sox have led since the second inning, but this is another good ball game in this ALCS. Just a 2-run affair now, 4-2 into the 7th inning, and for Boston, top of the order against the first guy out of the pen for Detroit, Phil Koch. Third appearance of this LCS. He's pitched in 3 straight. Prior to game 3, had not appeared since September 18th because of a bad pitching elbow. Worked his way back into shape. And Ellsbury greets him with a fly ball into center. Austin Jackson hardly had to move one out. We go back to the double play that ended the 6th.
What a terrific play by Bogarts, giving Pedroia the ball in time, and he threw it up where Pedroia could handle it. Pedroia getting up and over Pena, and grateful to Bogarts when he leaves the field. Nice play, Xander.
That's it for Koch. He gets the only man he faces, Victorino and Pedroia coming up. Jim Leland's dipping back into the bullpen. Here comes Jose Veras, the right-hander, as we play in the 7th. Drama. Don't miss the show critics are calling obsession worthy. Almost Human premieres Monday, November 4th on Fox. Here's Jose Veras. Breaking ball is in for a strike to Victorino, who is back to batting right-handed against the right-handed pitcher. He had seen a ton of Anibal Sanchez, 46 at bats prior to tonight. That's the second most that any hitter had faced Anibal Sanchez, and he had done it batting left-handed. So Victorino went back to what he knew against Sanchez. Now he's back to what he's been doing recently because of the bad hamstring. Batting right-handed, even though he's a switch hitter against a right-handed pitcher, and the count's 1-1.
Interesting thing about Veras is Veras has that wicked curveball of his that goes away from Victorino. Tougher right-handed batter.
Here comes a 1-1 pitch. That one stays up. We were talking about game 6 in this series, and the start time depending on what happens in St. Louis tomorrow night. When Kershaw and the Dodgers take on Waka and the Cardinals in game 6. If the Cardinals win, the game is Saturday night at Fenway Park. If the Dodgers win, the game is Saturday afternoon, just after 4 o'clock in the East at Fenway, before game 7 in St. Louis. So Jim Leland said we won't know until tomorrow night at about midnight whether our game on Saturday is a late afternoon game or a night game at Fenway.
Yeah, the Tigers charter leaves at 1 o'clock one way or the other tomorrow afternoon. They will not work out at Fenway Park.
Breaking balls fouled away. The Tigers in the bottom of this 7th will have Iglesias, then Hunter, then Cabrera. Now it looks like Tazawa will head back out to work. He finished off the 6th. Here's a 2-2. Full count. On deck is Pedroia, then Ortiz. Ellsbury went after the first pitch, popped it into center. Koch threw one pitch. His night is over. Breaking ball strikes out Victorino. And there's that nasty, nasty pitch They get Shane Victorino, who's 0 for 4 tonight.
Ferris throwing that pitch 5 out of 6 times and having enough confidence to throw it 3-2 to get Victorino. That's why it's puzzling to see Victorino hit from the right side because of Ferris's curveball.
2 out, nobody on. Here is Pedroia, who is 1 for 3 tonight, 4 out of 17 in this series.
This is a fastball right here. And the reason you know that is because Ferris said, yes, I want that pitch. No, I don't want it there. Yes, I want it there. The only time a pitcher double shakes, I know that sounds strange, but it's double shakes, is when he's looking for positioning. And that's what happened before throwing that first pitch.
There's the curve, and there's strike 1. Pedroia steps out, gets back in.
Fastball away.
Tailed back at 95 and too much for Dustin Pedroia, strike 2.
Jose Veras has been very impressive during this LCS.
Both starters out of there. Sanchez 6 innings, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 9 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks. Lester 5 1/3, 2 runs, 7 hits, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. Both the pitchers of record to this point. Chopped, tough play. Infante too late. And Omar Infante did everything he could.
It's remarkable how infielders make these plays with their bare hands at will now. It used to be an unusual play. Not anymore as Pedroia legs out an infield hit.
Clearly safe. That's a big infield hit because it means that David Ortiz gets to face the right-hander. With 2 out here in the 7th. They prefer either a lefty or a guy like Benoit against Ortiz. Instead, it's Ferris who finds strike 1. He wants to know on the pitch or the swing. Greg Breslow getting loose.
That's a very good point, Joe, because if Pedroia makes an out, then Jim Leland has a chance maybe to bring in Drew Smiley to face Ortiz to lead off the 8th inning. Pedroia, meanwhile, he tried to steal with Ortiz up in the 1st inning. Why not go again now?
And you can run on Pena, who's more of an offensive type catcher.
And he's had no play. He hasn't had to throw the ball since coming in as a defensive catcher for Alex Avila.
2-run game here in the 7th. Pedroia sizing him up. There he goes. Pitch outside. Throw down is too late. Stolen base, and Pedroia is at second with 2 out.
Pena out to talk. I think what happened was Veras shook off the fastball. He threw the curve. So Pedroia not only had a good jump, he chose the right pitch on which to run. For the minute Pena let loose of that ball, he went out to Veras to talk to him.
Now Jeff Jones out to talk. You've got first base open, the right-handed hitting Napoli on deck. And the Tigers can do what they want. They can put Ortiz on, obviously, or test David, who has a flare hit in this game, but only one other hit in this series, the game-tying slam on Sunday night. Fifth inning, the pitch came in at 94. It went out at 71 on the hit speed, and that's why that flare off the bat of Ortiz fell in. That's his only hit in this series other than the home run. A grand slam to tie it on Sunday night. Runner at second, 2 out. Ortiz hits one into right center field. Going to get it, Hunter. And the runner, Pedroia, left on. It's time to stretch in Detroit. Cold, wet night. It's game number 5, and the Red Sox lead by 2. What a catch! Unbelievable by Iglesias out of nowhere. A couple of the highlights from this game 5: the home run by Napoli, the catch by Iglesias. Tazawa back to the hill, and down we go to Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, Jose Iglesias, a Cuban defector, another Cuban defector, a 26-year-old first baseman named Jose Abreu, finalizing terms on a 6-year, $68 million contract. The team he is expected to sign with is the Chicago White Sox. He would be the long-term replacement for Paul Konerko. This is the richest deal ever given a first-time player. $12 million more than Yu Darvish got, $26 million more than Yasiel Puig got.
Kenny, thanks. So that's big news for the White Sox. Chicago finished this season in last place in the AL Central, 30 games out behind Detroit. Craig Breslow is getting loose. Iglesias will be the hitter. Tazawa continuing to take his warm-up tosses. We remind you tonight's game is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by MasterCard, preferred card of Major League Baseball since 1997. Talking to John Farrell during the course of this series and about Tazawa, it's his preference to not have Tazawa come in, sit down, then go back out to work. He's got Breslow ready. And whether it's just the first batter or the first sign of trouble. So he's playing the bottom of the 7th. A close eye on Tazawa, who drops a breaking ball low, ball 1.
3 right-handers will be hitting against Tazawa. Iglesias, Hunter, and Cabrera, and then the left-hander will be Prince Fielder, and I assume that's why Breslow is warming in the Red Sox bullpen, even though he's very effective against right-handers.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what is the bonus with Breslow. They don't mind him against right-handers either. That is outside. The count 2-0 on Iglesias, who's 0 for 2. Jose has struck out, bounced back to the pitcher. That was against Lester. A strike to make it 2-1. Torrey Hunter will follow, and then Miguel Cabrera. As Tim said, Fielder due up 4th in this inning if it gets that far. Now Xander Bogaerts goes in.
That's one language he does not speak. Japanese.
Ball got loose in the outfield. And Tazawa waits before the 2-1 pitch. to Iglesias. MLB Fan Cave coming back in 2014. Players, celebrities, concerts, and more. You can be a part of next season's team. Go to MLBFanCave.com and apply right now. Two and two.
Ellsbury in center field, fairly shallow. Victorino in right, very shallow.
Mile-per-hour pitch from Tazawa, fouled back. Still 2-2.
If you're Detroit, you want one of your first two hitters up and on because of Cabrera. Obviously, you'd love to have both of them on for Cabrera, but you'll take one up with Cabrera at the plate.
Foul. First three games of this LCS were one-run games. Last night was 7-3. Tigers won it to even this series. It's a two-run game here in the seventh inning tonight to see who has the advantage going back to Boston. Into center field, base hit. And Iglesias is on for the first time tonight.
Ball was almost on the ground. Below the knees, lifted to center, and the Tigers have what they want. Their leadoff batter on base.
And the former Boston Red Sox infielder Iglesias on to start the inning. Now it's Torrey Hunter who's 0 for 3. Play, strike one. Coming up on 11 o'clock here in Detroit. 4-2 game. Napoli with 3 hits tonight. He started the scoring with a home run to center back in the second. Alex Avila had to leave in the 4th inning after a collision at the plate with David Ross. That's us. 50-degree night. Rain has stopped. Coldest night of this series is tonight, game 5. Strike 2. Lays off, ball 1. Here's a 1-2. That is slicing foul and will get out of play.
I think Tazawa does Torrey Hunter a favor by throwing a breaking ball here, because Hunter is not getting around on the high fastball. You don't want to speed up his bat.
Good battle here between Torrey Hunter and Junichi Tazawa. Scooped up by Ross, 2-2. Line drive into right. Iglesias will turn and go to third. First and third, nobody out. Base hit Hunter.
This crowd realizing what is happening. First and third, nobody out for Miguel Cabrera. Torrey Hunter in the hole, 0-2. Fouls off some tough pitches. 2-2 pitch hammered to right field. Iglesias to third.
A reaction from the 38-year-old Torrey Hunter after getting the base hit to right. And now it brings in this matchup again. This time there's nobody out. The last time Cabrera faced Tazawa was in Game 3 in the 8th inning, first and third, one out. And it was all heat from Tazawa for the strikeout. And everything away. Back out there for ball one. Triple Crown winner from a year ago. To the second baseman, Pedroia will step, get the double play, a run scores, and it's a one-run game. With a chant of MVP, Junichi Tazawa gets Cabrera on the 4-3 double play ball, no RBI, and that's it for Tazawa.
And the Red Sox, under the circumstances, could not have gotten anything more than they had wished for. The double play ball hit by Cabrera.
Now the bases are empty, 2 out in the inning. Red Sox clinging to a 1-run lead in the 7th. Prince Fielder coming up. Craig Breslow coming out of the bullpen. Frustration for Cabrera. Results in a double play ball off Cabrera's bat. 2 big double plays induced by Tazawa. One in the 6th off the bat of Jackson. This one off Cabrera. And now it's Prince Fielder against Breslow. Ball 1 up and in. 4-3. Red Sox on top. Bottom of the 7th. Bases empty. 2 out. A run home in the inning for the Tigers. And it's been a long time in the postseason for Prince Fielder. Looking for an RBI, and he rips it foul. Going back to Game 2 of last year's ALCS against the Yankees. 3 more games against the Yankees. Forget home runs, no RBIs. Same in 4 games against the Giants in the World Series, 5 games this year in the division series against the A's in the first 4 games of this ALCS. No RBIs for Fielder. He drove home 106 during the regular season, hit 25 home runs. Here's a 1-1. Right side, right to Pedroia yet again. And that sends this game, game 5, into the 8th inning. A battle of the bullpens now, with the Red Sox up by 1. Mike Napoli leads off the 8th inning. He's hit a home run, he's hit a double, he's hit a single. He's a triple shy of the cycle. This is a ballpark that's conducive to triples as a breaking ball stays inside from Veras. In 1,397 postseason games, no player has ever hit for the cycle. Mike Napoli has 8 career triples, 2 this year. His last one coming on July 12th. First up in the 8th. Red Sox leading by 1. The big hook is in for a strike. Napoli doesn't agree. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. You can see why I didn't like it. Napoli, then Gomes, then Drew. Here's a 1-1. Another breaking ball. We've seen nothing but that to Napoli. And the majority of pitches, the curveball from Veras, it's 1-2.
3 straight curves. And if anybody's ever set up for that fastball outside that Veras features 95, 96 miles an hour, it's Mike Napoli.
Just couldn't catch the corner. 2-2.
Now he'll probably go back to the curveball as the fastball misses.
Another 1-run game in this ALCS. The 2-2. Strikeout starts the inning. Napoli retired for the first time tonight.
Second strikeout for Veras, and after 3 straight curveballs, he gets Napoli with the fastball. Pretty good sequence by Veras and Pena then.
Bottom of this 8th inning, we'll start with Victor Martinez, then Johnny Peralta, Omar Infante. Breslow is the pitcher now for the Red Sox. No action for Boston in their bullpen. 1 out, nobody on. Ball 1 outside to Johnny Gomes, who hit only .207 this season with the bases empty. He lights up with runners in scoring position, hit .345. Good curveball, strike 1.
He's got a good curveball that he can throw for strikes on a consistent basis. That is a tough, tough curve.
Two balls and a strike with Stephen Drew on deck. Gomes hit 13 home runs in part-time duty with the Red Sox this year. He has not gone deep this postseason. One out, nobody on. That's behind the plate. Out of play. look at our Geico in-game box score for the Red Sox. Ellsbury has a hit. Victorino 2 out of 20 now in this LCS. Pedroia a couple of singles. Napoli with a home run, a double, a single. Ross has had a nice night, batting 9th with 2 hits and an RBI double. Here's a 2-2. Left side for Iglesias. 2 out. Coverage continues tomorrow night. Postseason action at 8 Eastern on TBS with a crucial Game 6 of the NLCS. Dodgers trying to force a Game 7 behind Clayton Kershaw taking on the rookie Michael Wacha. Then on Saturday of this series, Game 6, back in Boston, Tigers Red Sox. The winner of tonight's game will have a chance to head to the World Series. Coverage of ALCS Game 6 on Saturday, either 4 Eastern or 7:30 Eastern if there's no Game 7 in the National League. Up and away for ball 1 to Stephen Drew with 2 out, nobody on.
Joe, the difference in this 4-3 game is the wild pitch, the 2-out wild pitch on which Mike Napoli scored back in the 4th inning. Make that the 3rd inning.
Single runs in the 5th, 6th, and 7th for the Tigers. Drew takes a strike. Steven just 1 out of 16 with 8 strikeouts in this LCS. That is back behind short, long run, and caught by Iglesias. Tigers have scored in 3 straight innings. In the 5th inning, it was Cabrera. In the 6th inning, RBI by Pena. Last inning, on a double play ball. They trail by 1 in the bottom of the 8th of Game 5. Gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. And by Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. There's Kid Rock right in the middle. Chris Chelios, as we look at those two, to our left, his right. Chelly played long time with the Blackhawks and the Detroit Red Wings. O'Hara's getting loose. Bottom of the 8th inning. Breslow back to the hill. Victor Martinez first up. This an easy decision for John Farrell to have Victor Martinez bat right-handed.
279 batter right-handed this year, 314 from the left side, and that really doesn't tell the whole story. His power comes from the left side, not nearly as potent a hitter right-handed as left-handed.
His 1 career postseason home run right-handed came this year in the division series against Oakland. That is right at Napoli, who blocks it and goes to the bag. 1 out.
Now the decision gets a little tougher for John Farrell. Off the end of the bat by Martinez. Good play by Napoli, who's really worked hard on his defense. That's something you could do on the right side of the infield, because you don't have to make a throw unless it's a short throw, and this is the right decision John Farrell's going to make. And getting back to that point, Joe, about playing this like it were Game 7, that's what Farrell's doing.
O'Hara is going to come in. This season, including the postseason, he has had 1 5-out save. That's what he'll be aiming for here tonight. He's been lights out. Comes on in the 8th. Peralta coming up. in a one-run game. He throws usually nothing but strikes, Tim, and it's that efficiency that allows him to be in line for saves that last for more than 3 outs.
That's exactly right, because he doesn't waste pitches. He doesn't know really what that means, to waste a pitch.
Peralta takes a strike. Fastball will maybe touch low 90s. His out pitch, his devastating pitch, is a splitter that disappears.
And it breaks 3 ways: down, right, and left.
Outside, a ball and a strike. Aaron Charlton with Stats Inc. is with us, and he gave us the stat that Uehara, with 5 4-out saves, 1 5-out save this season. Splitter misses 2-1. So he's no stranger to working more than just the ninth. Behind on the count to Peralta. And now even farther behind, 3-1.
Even this is unusual, to have 3-1 count on an opposing hitter. He had 101 strikeouts this year and 9 walks.
Peralta with 6 LCS home runs in his career. Trying to pump one out of here, and it's a full count. That was an I'm going to tie the game swing from Johnny Peralta. Now a 3-2. Out of play. Peralta's home run this postseason was a game-tying 3-run shot in Game 4 of the division series here in Detroit against the A's.
Maybe the biggest hit for the Tigers in the postseason.
Another 3-2 from Uehara. Foul tip.
The splitter stays up. That is normally the splitter that goes down. For it to go to the right, which would be to the right in your screen, he drops his hand down. No, it's almost as though he pushes the ball toward home.
Another foul by Peralta, 3 in a row.
See, that's just an 89-mile-an-hour fastball, but it looks so much faster because hitters have to look for the much slower splitter.
Peralta on 3-2. Strikes out. And the splitter got him 2 away. We talk so often, Tim, about a hitter. We've said it about Cabrera, who doesn't care at all about hitting with 2 strikes. Koji Uehara doesn't mind pitching with 3 balls in the count.
Yeah, that's right. Full count, forget about it.
Here's a shot into the corner, but hooked foul off the bat of Infante.
You know, now pay attention, if you would, folks, to this comment. Koji Uehara has allowed fewer base runners per inning than any pitcher in any season, any time.
Guys just don't get on. Here's the 0-1. Foul out of play right side. I mean, that's comparing him to guys like Dennis Eckersley when he was just absolutely unbeatable.
Would walk 3 a year.
Last walk for Uehara was August 3rd. A strikeout ends the inning, and the splitter got him. Uehara has been automatic. We go to the 9th inning, Game 5. What a game. What a series. Boston will bat, leading the Tigers 4-3. inning in a one-run game. Game 5, 4-3. Red Sox on top. Albuquerque takes over. Don Kelly does as well out in left. Johnny Peralta's night is finished. New to the outfield, his night is over in a one-run game here in the ninth. Bogarts is at the plate. Now that got Pena. We've already lost Avila because of a collision at the plate and all the nicks and bruises he's had. This one catches Pena on the right knee.
That's on the crease. The shin guard comes up and over the knee, and it actually is flexible. In that little crease, the bend there is where it got Brian Pena.
Bogarts 1 for 3 on the night. Albuquerque is the 4th pitcher of the night for Detroit. Bogarts had a double and a run scored back in a 3-run second. The Red Sox finally got after a Tiger starter early. 3 in the second, 1 in the third, led 4-0. It's now 4-3. Series tied at 2 games apiece. A check swing. He didn't go. Pena was ready to fire it around the horn, but no swing, says Dan Iasonia.
I think Xander Bogaerts was ready to go back to the Red Sox bench. I think the Red Sox got a break with that call.
See if Bogarts does anything with new life. The 21-year-old waiting. Now a full count. In case you're wondering, you saw Uehara. 2 batters have to reach in the 9th inning to get Miguel Cabrera to the plate again.
I was thinking the same thing. He will be 5th up if they get that far.
Now a walk. So a near strikeout on a check swing turns into a walk, and the Red Sox put their leadoff man on here in the 9th.
Here's that check swing. Did he go too far? No, the look from there does not look like it. That, of course, was ball 4.
Now Will Middlebrooks will come on and run. That was the earlier pitch with 2 strikes, and Bogarts survived that pitch and that check swing. Now Middlebrooks, who will take over defensively at third base in the bottom of the inning, is running, and a perfect bunt by Ross. Nobody's at third. Pena gets there too late.
His glove hit the umpire. That's a catcher's responsibility because Cabrera was too far in to make the play. Pena may have broke a little late for third base, but watch. He hits the umpire with the glove and can't make the tag.
Good base running by Middlebrooks.
Excellent.
And he's standing on third base now with 1 out. The throw took Pena around to his right.
Right.
And that's when he made contact with Rob Drake, the third base umpire. Now a walk will come to Ellsbury. That's a big run sitting over there for Boston in a 1-run game in the 9th. Ellsbury will get the pass with Victorino coming up.
I'll tell you what made that play so startling. Middlebrooks wasn't warmed up. He came in as a pinch runner, and the first ball was bunted by Ross, and Middlebrooks, instead of stopping at second, had the wherewithal to go to third base and take a chance with a 1-run lead. Excellent base running. Excellent.
You're right. Pena was a little late breaking toward third base.
Yep.
He looked up Middlebrooks. Nobody's there at the moment. By the time Pena recovered, it was too late. Now the walk to Ellsbury puts first and third 1 out. for Shane Victorino.
And it puts the squeeze as a very big possibility. Shane Victorino is probably the best bunter on the Red Sox ball club. Batting right-handed against a guy who throws sliders off the plate away. Tough to hit. Why not bunt? It's at least an option for John Farrell.
Again, Victorino, typically a switch hitter up until this year into the season. Now back batting right-handed, as he did in his previous at-bat in the 7th inning against Jose Veras. Hit left-handed over his first 3 at-bats against Sanchez. Infield is in. Here's a bunt that will drop foul.
That was a safety squeeze because Middlebrooks at third didn't run right away. You have to make sure the ball's on the ground. See, Middlebrooks is not compelled to run. It's not a suicide squeeze, but a safety squeeze. Victorino got the ball in the air and fielder couldn't make the play.
Victorino with 5 sacrifice bunts right-handed during the regular season. Ryan Butterfield talking into the ear of Middlebrooks, the runner at third, and a check on Ellsbury at first.
The infield's in. When you bring the infield in with the runner on at first and third, you do not look for the double play. Ball hit to an infielder. He'll come home with the ball. They're giving second base to Ellsbury. Might as well take it.
Which he does.
20 years since I took a steal play from the outside. Yeah, right.
And now it's second and third with 1 out and a 1-1 count on Victorino. Now a base hit could mean 2. That's no small thing, taking a base when they're giving it to you. And they do give a stolen base to Ellsbury. That's his 2nd of this game and his 6th of the postseason. It's up to the official scorer where they can say fielder's indifference, but in this case it's a steal. Now first base is open. Victorino, who's been frustrated, 2 out of 20 in this ALCS, with only 1 RBI, has a big chance. Strike 2.
On the other hand, if you're Albuquerque, you throw that slider off the plate away, about 6 inches away, and hope Victorino bites. A guy like Albuquerque could try it 2 or 3 times with the count in his favor.
Red Sox up by a run. Top of the 9th inning. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. A pop-up right side. Out of play.
That was a mistake Albuquerque got away with. He did not want that pitch that good with the count 1-2. A little surprised that he threw the fastball. I mean, here's a guy who lives and dies with the slider.
Middlebrooks, the runner at third. Ellsbury at second, 1 out. For the team that leads by 1. Victorino spoiled it. Good job to get the bat on that pitch. On deck is Pedroia. After Pedroia, it's Ortiz, and Drew Smiley is up in the bullpen for the Tigers. Victorino strikes out. And the runners remain at 2nd and 3rd now, 2 down. What a big strikeout for Al Albuquerque as Victorino chased that pitch in the dirt.
Ball outside low. Nice play by Pena on the block. And to complete the play. Tell you, when you're trying to go that far off the plate, it puts a lot of pressure on the catcher because you know the ball's going to be in the dirt. It was. Victorino went after it. Pena made the play, completed the play.
Now it's Pedroia. Dustin, 2 hits in this game. Second and third, 2 out. Off the end of the bat into center. Jackson is there, and this is a 1-run game going into the bottom of the 9th, and the Detroit bullpen has done the job so far tonight. Uehara will continue to pitch and try to do his job in the bottom of the 9th. Going there. Red Sox lead by 1. Game and a preview of NLCS Game 6. We'll also have highlights from Arizona, where the Seahawks took on the Cardinals in the NFL, and plenty of action around the NHL and the NBA. So tune in to Fox Sports Live after the game, only on Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com. Will Middlebrooks came on to pinch run. Adds to the defense. He's at third. Uehara back to work. Struck out 2 in the 8th. And misses outside to Brian Pena to start the 9th. Pena, then Jackson, then Iglesias. Red Sox leading game 5, 4-3. That's a strike. Here's a 1-1. Reaching for it, strike 2. If you're just joining us, bottom of the 9th inning of game 5. The series tied 2 games apiece. The Red Sox got what they needed out of their big left-hander, John Lester. He went 5 1/3, 2 runs on 7 hits. Red Sox led this game 4-0. Now it's 4-3. In the bottom of the 9th. And a pop-up into shallow left center. Tough play, and it's Gomes who comes in to grab it. In between Ellsbury and Drew. 1 out. That almost found no man's land out in left center field, and here's Austin Jackson. The bullpen and Junichi Tozawa got double play balls in the 6th, the 7th. Breslow retired both hitters he faced. And now a ball into Austin Jackson to start this at bat.
Jacoby Ellsbury in center field telling Johnny Gomes in left to play straight away.
Here's a fly ball into center. Easy for Ellsbury. 2 out. And the Tigers are down to their final out, and it's the former Boston Red Sox infielder Jose Iglesias walking in, trying to extend game 5.
And the fact that Iglesias does not have a lot of power means that the Boston outfield does not have to play him extra deep and play a no doubles defense. They can play him normally.
Iglesias singled and scored his last time up. Uehara has retired all 4 batters he's faced. Trying to save it for Lester. Ball 1 inside. This game for the series advantage. Heading back to Fenway Park. 2-0. Two and 1. In case you're wondering, Iglesias 3 home runs during the regular season. cold night in Detroit. The 2-1 pitch. Off the hands, 2-2. The Tigers down to their final strike. It will be at least a 24-pitch effort for Uehara.
Sleep in November.
Looking for the 5-out save. Two and two the count. Good battle by Iglesias. If Iglesias can reach, Torrey Hunter waits on deck. Full count. To the right side, foul.
That's why Mike Napoli's on the line at first base. The ability of Iglesias to hit the ball to right field. Normally Napoli would be like 10 yards to his right, but he is hugging the line, and that is proper positioning. Protect against the extra base hit.
Ninth pitch of this at bat. Popped up. And with this, the Red Sox win Game 5. And Uehara with a 5-out save in another one-run game in this thrilling ALCS. "27 pitches from Koji Uehara, who was only supposed to be a setup man in 2013. Injuries took away Hanrahan, took away Bailey. And that's the way those two celebrate as Big Papi lifts up Uehara, who continues to lift up these Red Sox.
For a team with a payroll of around $150 million, Uehara is the best $4.5 million buy that they have on that club.
Let's go down to the field and Ken Rosenthal.
Mike, home run, double, single tonight, your first 3 at-bats. Sanchez was so tough on the team in Game 1, so tough on you as well. What was the difference tonight?
Oh, we basically turned a page. You know, we can't dwell on that, that first start he had, but just come out here and try to, hit mistakes and, put a couple good swings on pitches, and we're able to drive them.
Lester pitched out of trouble repeatedly. Your bullpen was terrific again. How impressed were you that your pitchers were able to hold down such a good offense?
I mean, they've been doing it all year. Lester's been doing a great job all year. Our bullpen's been tough this whole postseason. So, it's a great team win and, huge win for us tonight.
Mike, thanks a lot. Over to Aaron Andrews.
Ken, thanks. Koji Uehara with a 5-out save. David, you said you got a few more gray hairs tonight, but how can you when a guy like that is on the mound? What else can you say about him?
He's been a stud for us all year. He's been doing a great job. He's our horse in the back end of that thing. Those guys battled. Craig Breslow did a great job. Taz came in and got a great big double play with Cabrera up. That's humongous for us. And Johnny Lester, he didn't have his best stuff tonight, but he battled. He battled late, was fighting some mechanical issues. We got a couple leadoff walks. We can't have that. With a 4-1 lead, we cannot have these guys walking. They're too powerful.
And your bats battle tonight, particularly second time around, seeing Anibal Sanchez, what was the difference against him?
you know, we get better as we see guys. Usually, you know, I think we had a good plan going in. You know, Knapp, that was huge. Just get us on the board. You know, Dustin again getting a knock in the first inning. You know, it's always good against these good pitch staff. Get some hits early, and then Knapp putting us on the board was huge. And then we were able to capitalize on some of their mistakes.
David, thanks so much. We'll see you in Boston.
Aaron, always. Thank you.
All right, Joe.
All right, Aaron, thank you. What a game. What a series this has been. Another one-run affair. Red Sox bats got after it early. They were able to hang on and win this game 5 by a final of 4-3. And with that, as we go back to Fenway Park, the Red Sox 1 win away from winning the AL pennant. Back after this.